What up, it's your boy Stefan with the Home Run Home Buying Experience, and I'm here today with the friend Angel Rodriguez. I've known Angel, believe it or not, in like 10 years, and we've crossed paths plenty of times, but never had this kind of an opportunity to sit here and share some value for not just ourselves and having the conversations that we have, but more of how we can make our community stronger through what we've learned throughout these past 10 years and before that the rest of our life. So my promise to you is I wouldn't show up if I didn't have value to bring, and that is my intention. My job here today is to share something new with you. Angel, tell them what's up, man.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you. I appreciate the intro. It was nice. Yeah, I made a good point as far as bringing value to the community, making us stronger, whether it's educational, in any way that we can help the community and bring life to the community in a certain sense.
Talking about bringing life, man, tell me a little bit about this new adventure, this new chapter you have in your life. You just had a newborn, a baby? Like,
Yeah,
what?
just had a new baby. She would be a month on the 5th.
The fifth.
On
So
the
you're
5th.
talking 30 days fresh
Mhm.
on infant baby. I'm surprised that you don't look tired and beat down right now, man.
Luckily, last night we got a good amount of sleep, so
You did.
it was cool. It was cool.
Okay, that is good. That is good. Yeah,
But she
baby
slept
life.
better than normal.
How many kids do you have?
Two.
Two kids.
Two.
Okay, so you've been through this rodeo before.
Yeah.
This is daughter,
Daughter. So the first one was a boy. This
boy.
one's a daughter.
Boy, so you did the thing.
Yeah.
You got a boy and a girl, and life
Yep.
is set.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting. How's being a dad for you and working and balance and that stuff? Like how do you manage that?
Good, good. I'm fortunate enough to have a good support team, meaning my lady. She understands the difference of work and family, and when I do need to go, when the baby was 3 days old, I had to go show a house, I had to go meet up a client for a
Yeah.
listing, or go show some commercial property, or actually just go to a pre-qualification, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Go, you gotta do what you
Yeah.
gotta do." She fully understands. Kids actually understand. My son,
Right.
he's old enough,
Right.
that's 4. So he was like, "Oh, Daddy going to work?" I'm
Yep.
like, "Yeah, Daddy's gonna go to work." And I've even taken him to
So he
open
sees,
houses
yeah.
and
think
showing
that's
before.
important.
So he knows, but most of the time he just wants to stay home. He doesn't
Right.
really want to roll.
Right. He's like, yeah, what you do is boring. Like,
Mhm,
we're not
yeah.
stopping by any stores, nothing cool's coming out of it, no
Mhm.
park, like
He's only interested for about 5 minutes in the house. Then
Right.
he's like, "Oh, cool, I've seen everything."
right, until the house has a pool and they're like, dang.
Or
that's-
dirt.
Right.
There are piles of dirt. Went to a new building, there's piles of dirt. He was looking,
Uh,
crawling on them. I was like, "Ricky."
That was the best childhood of like playing in big piles of sand and stuff like that, or like
Mhm.
getting your bike and jumping those and
Yep. Yeah.
yeah, I could imagine what that mindset feels like as a kid seeing stuff like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go mess with that over there. I'll be
Yeah,
over
he-
here, Dad.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. He loves the rocks, loves the dirt. Just typical boy.
That's exciting, dude. So
Typical boy.
family man, you married, unmarried? How's that? Like
Not married.
not married.
Not married.
You working on that?
Trying to.
Okay, see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. That's exciting. How's so real estate, so something different right now with this conversation is that your channel is more into like the commercial side of it. So doing big things as far as like commercial, and I don't know a lot of people who know how to do commercial real estate. What is commercial real estate basically, and how does that work?
Currently, commercial real estate. So about 75 or 85% of my business is commercial, and that's buying, selling, or leasing.
Okay.
It's a variety of things from industrial to medical buildings to retail to restaurant space. It is a different market. It's a different experience, different learning. You'll see if someone that's is a business owner, but I just bought a house last year, but
Right.
now my business is doing good, and I do want to open my restaurant. I want to move from a food truck, taco truck, or from being a barber inside of a barber shop,
Right.
and convert to actually own my own barbershop or own my own retail space. They'll see it's no longer emotion. It's
Right.
kind of more strictly business
Right.
and numbers, and how am I going to use that space, each square footage of that 1,500 square foot space located in that retail center,
Right.
to my advantage to
Right.
make as much money as possible.
Right.
Not trying to be, I need to squeeze every dime, but
Right.
make it efficient and effective
Right.
for me as a business owner.
Right.
I know how my home is for my family to
Mhm.
use it as that space, so we feel comfortable, we feel
Right.
secure, we feel protected,
Right.
because I built that space for my family.
Right.
This one out here is to bring income for me and my family, so we could pay that home mortgage,
Right.
that loan off. And mainly the big difference you'll see is that a lot of emotions cut out of it. It's kind of straight to facts, straight to business. What can I do? Or can I do it? Can I not? If I do, how much is it going to cost me? What illegal things do I need to accomplish to be
Right.
here? Do I need a health inspection? If I'm a medical office, do I need a seat? Well, yes, you do within 10 feet. Okay, cool. We're going to have to negotiate those into our lease to make sure the landlord either provides them for us or gives us an allowance to install those seats into the space.
Huh.
Um, Very variety of things, but you see it just straight to the point. It's kind of, you know. It's like, no, it is what it is, and that's it.
That is crazy. That
Mhm.
there's, I like the fact that it's black and white though. That
Mhm,
you
mhm.
can definitely get straight to the point, and I think that's changing the whole like passion or career thing to a business owner.
Mhm.
In that, because now you're thinking operating like a business on every move and every
Yeah.
dollar that's coming in,
Mhm.
and how can you really generate and maximize your spaces. And I think that's important, and for people to start that journey off and have you like to educate them early,
Mhm.
like is powerful, because I'm pretty sure people just kind of go in on their ideas. Like, I don't know a person who doesn't write a goal of what they want to do,
Mhm.
basically, when they grow up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to own a barbershop. I'm going to do this. And you have this plan. But, like, there's a time to where, like, how do I start taking that leap of faith? Like, what does that look like? And I think that's what's powerful with the education and being able to go in there and see it and do
Mhm.
it, because it's one thing knowing it, it's another thing to put some action behind it and get it done. So
Yeah.
that's cool to have that experience on your belt, and to have somebody that's local from Tucson. Like you were telling me you went to Pueblo.
Yep, went to Pueblo High School,
That's exciting. What year did you graduate?
2010.
2010.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And then after that, attended the University of Arizona and graduated from there in
that's
2014.
exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah.
14, and then got into real estate in
2015.
2015, right after. So you
Right
just
after.
been you just straight to it, straight
Yeah.
to it. You know what's kind of cool is, because we're around the same age, is that like now that I'm starting to get like some gray hairs or some like bags under my eyes, like I feel like
I feel you.
I feel more professional than
Yeah.
when I thought back then. I thought I was like hot and hungry,
Mm-hmm.
but now I feel like with the experience and the weather, I want to say, like on my body and the time and like the ups and the downs, is like I feel a lot more wiser when it
Yeah.
comes to just getting things done, because there's that experience. That's what, 15 to almost 25.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's almost 10 years. Like, how do you get more tenure? Like, where did they even develop that word tenure? It's
Yeah.
like from putting in time.
They should give us an award or something.
Right, right.
You've been in real estate. You've made it through the thick and thin.
This is true, because some of those times are like, well, like 15 through like 19 is one batch, and then
Mm-hmm.
then we had a time where like it was like kind of sweet in like 2021, but then there was 20 right before it was kind of weird, where we were all kind of worried about our lives and stuff like that. And then now going through like, you know, home prices going up, which is okay. Like, we like that because we work off that, but also with the interest rates going higher too. So now we're figuring out how to qualify people
Mm-hmm.
and put them into houses that, like, the cost of living is a lot higher,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time the people aren't making much more money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what's this gap? This little gap here that we got to feel.
Yeah.
And what's exciting is that we pushed through it all
Yeah.
and still here,
Yeah.
getting it done.
Yeah. No, I think you bring up a good point because we've been through, like you said, 15 through 19 was kind of a sweet spot. It's kind of
Right.
everybody. It was a fair
Right.
fair play
Right.
for everybody. Then, you got like COVID and everything. Kind of then
Mhm.
everybody and their mom started buying property.
Right,
And then it was very competitive.
right.
Uh,
That was neat.
Yeah, even if you've been ready to purchase a home in that time, you will still get outbeat
Right.
because somebody will cash or someone would just blow you out of the water, which was unfortunate, but it happens. It's part of the market. It's part of the industry. And then now interest rates, like you said, are going up. I mean, are up. It's kind of people like, oh dang, why I waited and we did that. It's just kind of a bit of a mixture where
Right.
they're unsure, but then also that's kind of affecting both of us. But now what's going to affect both of us now too is the NAR lawsuit.
That's intense too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was my mom's trying to get a real estate license, and she was talking to me this morning, and
Mm.
like I'm hearing her out. She's talking about her goals and dreams, going back to like what every kid wants to do when they grow up, right? Like,
Yeah.
she's talking about like putting in hours and stuff, and like there's this weird part on my conscience, like, how do I just kind of slip this conversation that August is coming and things are
Mhm.
gonna be different. But then I was like, I kind of tipped on it, but I didn't like try to shatter anything, because like we've pushed so much through everything, is that there's going to be a new dynamic on how to how to find your money
Mm-hmm.
in that place and sell yourself differently and communicate and educate and work for the buyers so that way they can get paid.
Yeah.
You know, and essentially in my mind it's a business and you got to operate as a business at that point.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's interesting coming up and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I guess the best prediction like of the future is the past, and since we've been through some weird times already, this is just kind of adding to the new pot of weird things, and it's like, well, we've already done so much. Like, what's gonna come next?
Yeah, because well, I mean, eventually we'll get over the whole hurdle, and thankfully our community, our associations locally are providing, educational courses and stuff like that. But the only way to really learn it and get through it is when it becomes effective, and I think it's becoming effective like August 15th,
Uh huh.
17th, something like
Yep.
that. And it's going to be interesting because everybody, people that agents that are new in the market come to people like you and I that have
Right.
been there for a while. Wow, what do you think? I'm like, well, I think it might be okay. I think it might be the same.
Right.
But it's also we're gonna have to play our part to educate our
Right.
sellers in the market of understanding. Hey, you want people to come to your house.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know the traditional ways. You want to know the ways we did it for 20 years.
Right.
They worked. This is
Right.
new. Um, but you do have that option, and I'm gonna tell you, you do have that option to pay them 0,
Uh-huh.
pay them 1,
Right.
2, 3%, 4%, all the way to
Right.
10. You can pay them whatever you want.
Right.
But how attractive do we want to make it
Right.
to bring a buyer's agent and a buyer to your property? And that's because may affect you in the sense where, hey, I'm looking at this house and the seller doesn't want to pay our client's commission. Can we roll them in there? No, Angel only qualified for 300,000 max. So what are we gonna do? I'm like, dang, I don't know what we're gonna do because now that's gonna push them over to 309. So are we gonna be able to roll that in there? Are we gonna be able to get some more closing
Right.
costs? How much money do they have
Right.
to afford? Did we just get them over that threshold of 300,000
Right.
and now we're pushing it to 309?
Right. We're going into a lot of education and
Mhm.
perspective training, like, and I said training because that's what's coming next is like the
Mhm.
training on how to find out where a person's at and have them see from a different perspective
Mm-hmm.
on what their goal is and where they're trying to go and what the value is and what the importance is, and ultimately it's gonna really, I think, weed out people who are unwilling to like dive deep for a person,
Mm-hmm.
because if you have a true want and it's my job as a bridge to get you from A to B,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm gonna have to put myself in your shoes so that way you can see how to get across the bridge
Yeah.
without me just telling you or feeling like a sales guy or
Yeah.
working for it, like
Yeah.
and it's gonna take every different angle of communicating that so that way everybody, and it's not just one person, it's now like more people involved
Yes.
to get the thing done. So you got to work, like I may have you sold and you're good, like
Mm-hmm.
you see it, but then how do I get everybody else to see it? So
Correct.
like I believe the true leaders are going to come out too in the process of like, because it's not just about leading one person, it's about leading a group of people now.
Correct.
And we're all in this transaction together.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to go.
Yeah, because as of right now and previously, agents' commissions were not part of the contract.
Right.
And now they are becoming part of the contract, where it can now be a negotiation, such as closing costs
Right.
or repairs, from point A all the way to point B to the end of the contract. Where, hey, you told us you're going to fix the roof when we went under contract. Is the roof's going to be completed by the closing? Oh, yes, it is going to be completed. Oh, yeah, but in the middle now we could be like, well, if the roof doesn't get completed, and then could you just pick up Angel's closing costs? I mean,
Right.
Angel's commission.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Since we forgot, we'll go ahead and pick up his commission.
Right.
Now it's a negotiation throughout the entire
Throughout
process.
this thing. So it's like you're almost like checking things off, and then going back to, as you were talking about as a business owner and
Mhm.
maximizing every square footage, it's going to be like that throughout the
Mhm.
transaction too. It's like you're making sure that now that there's money involved and it's coming from somewhere that you can see with your
Mhm.
eyes, 'cause that's a big difference. It's like there was always money, someone's getting paid, but now like the pie's on the table and there's
Mhm.
a group of people here and everybody's got to cut from that pie.
Yeah.
And you see what's left, what kind of rations you have. So if the goal is to complete the pie, like it's how to use every crumb efficiently so
Mhm.
that way no one's losing out. So I see that as being like a benefit to the buyer and that aspect of it, because
Mhm.
there's going to be no dollar like
Yeah.
misspent or unspent.
Yeah, it's
Kinda
gonna
deal.
come. It's gonna come down to an understanding of both parties, of
Right.
buyer and seller. Because let's say you have a really good buyer that wants to buy this $300,000 house.
Right.
But on the back end, the listing agent's gonna know, well, my client's already walked away with 110,000.
Right.
Like, okay, cool. But you know, this buyer that really wants your house and that you like them and they love your house and they'll take it the way it is.
Right.
We just got them over that threshold of 300,000. Is there any? Then now they're having to come out with 300,000, an extra 9,000 to pay their buyer's agent. Can you help them out a bit, please? So it's just kind of a bit understanding that way. There's going to be a lot of disclosure, I think, going to be coming across both parties as of financial stuff, which
Right.
now currently it's kind of like, hey, you know your business, I know my business. You just need to know that I'm qualified to buy your house, and that's it.
Right. Right.
And I could pull it off in this time frame, and that's it.
Right.
And we'll buy it. Repairs and stuff is between us, but you'll need to talk to my loan officer now.
Right.
Now you as a loan officer may have to talk to sellers. I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting part that's coming too, because it's more of, before it felt like the transactions were, we didn't like it to look like that, but in truth it felt kind of like there was a selling side and a buying side, and the finance fell on the buying side a little bit. So, and you're working with the buyer, and you're trying to get them into the. So there was some like, talk to your agent, talk to your,
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that communication happened, and everybody was kind of apart.
Yeah.
And I think this is gonna like put everybody back to going into a group text of
Yep.
5 people on a group text, and we're all just talking about the same thing.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
so that's something that I see that could be helpful and hurtful at the same time. It's really gonna come down to perspective on everybody seeing that we're trying to get from A to B. And there's so many people involved between the sellers and where they're going, the buyers coming in, everybody else in the party, the transaction of like who knows what.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's what I think. As much we could get educated through our associations or locally or whatever it may be, will be beneficial. But the main thing is just gonna be, getting that first transaction post August 17th, 15th, whatever case, what date it is, and just roll with it. If the seller's not paying your commission, you know what I mean?
I think what's going to be interesting too is how you mentioned like getting your first transaction as with the new like stipulations in place, and then like getting that belief down that you can do it and you can market and sell yourself in any way, shape, or form. I think that what people might be afraid of right now is like, what if I don't get one, or what if I don't influence somebody, or change somebody's perspective, or inspire somebody. Like you got to pull everything out.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
all the tools like are coming out on the tool. It's time to build, because I think once you start building, and I say you like, not that you can't, but like everybody's got to do their first one coming up like
Yeah,
that. So
everybody, yeah.
it's gonna start like you're gonna dive deep. Like you're gonna have to dig deep on communicating and like really taking notes on everything to find out where the new places of leverage are gonna be. So that way you can find that out. And then when you get the reps and you close a deal, you're like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah,
Like, okay,
yeah.
here's a new process on that. So it's
Yeah.
just about to create a new process. And people in the real estate and mortgage world, we've done the same things since dinosaur time. Like we're still using the same, computer system and stuff like that. And it's happened one way for so long. So now that something's coming is where the little like fear or faith can be too. Like they say that fear and excitement, because it's something new, right? It might be harder, but it's something new. Can bring the same feeling. It just depends on how you look at it. And
Yeah.
I think that the topic of this is perspective.
Yeah,
Like, it's
exactly.
switching to perspective.
It's just gonna come down. You might get post September 1st, and oh yeah, seller's paying my commission. Cool. Well, no more transaction. You know what I mean? And then the next month you get another contract, a normal transaction.
Right.
And then you get into December, like, dang, this thing's been around already for a few months, and I
Right.
have not experienced the process of
Right.
not being paid by the seller.
Right.
But I think it's just gonna come by transaction, by
Right.
client, by.
Right.
But like you said, your perspective, like, okay, cool. I have enough years of experience.
Right.
I have enough
Damn right.
educational. I have a good lender behind me.
Yep.
I have a good escrow officer.
Yep.
I know the listing agent
Right.
pretty well.
Right.
A friendly listing agent, someone that's fair and is going to understand you and willing
Right.
to work with me, my buyers, and etc. to get the deal done successfully. Because our ultimate goal is to work in the best interest of our buyer.
Right.
It just now our commissions are included in that interest, kind of in a sense now, because
Right.
it's included in the contract.
Right.
To a point where we needed to come some type of negotiation and
Right.
brainstorming to get paid and also successfully have them move into their house.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's a trip, man, because like buyers don't really see how much I make either on the
Mhm.
transaction. Like there's I think it's at the settlement statement, like you'll see how
Mhm.
much everybody's making at the end
Yeah.
when they go through that. But really that's probably the first time they're seeing it.
Mhm.
And you blow through that stuff and you don't really pay attention, like the 9 grand or something like that. And
Yeah.
you're like, dang, that was a hefty penny, like good thing they didn't have to pay for it or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So now it's gonna be out on the table early and we're all just gonna have to walk through it. Like
Yeah.
then from there and it is what it is. I think like what are we gonna do other than get better?
Yeah.
You know, we can the longer we stay in resistance and we push back on it and don't accept it, then the longer it's gonna take for us to get those first at bats
Yeah.
and to get them done. Because the faster we get them done, the faster we can say I could do this. Then
Mhm.
we build that evidence and we're like, all right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's just
We're gonna
keep
learn. We're gonna learn ways how to negotiate
Right.
in certain ways to
Right.
benefit everybody.
Right.
Make it everything fair. That way
Right.
Not everybody feels like, well, I'm losing.
Right.
I'm losing. Well, I'm losing. We're all winning. Your goal was to sell your house, and his or she goal was to move into your house, and we
Right.
got it done. And
Reminds me of
we
school
help those
again.
parties.
Yeah, it reminds me of school again of like you're about to start a new set of classes.
Yeah.
Something new is coming up. Like
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm gonna like that. I know that class is gonna be hard because you're constantly progressing.
Yeah.
Also, so like everything you've been doing up until that point, like you're about to learn new stuff that could be more challenging. But
Yeah.
that is like some people wonder, well, like what's the benefit of school? Like that is something in there that like you set yourself up for new challenges.
Mhm.
You go through that, like that's probably a bonus. You'll talk to entrepreneurs and they're like, yeah, school's for fools kind of deal. But
Yeah.
other than the concept of like getting information, retaining it, using it while you need it, like that's really what's happening because we don't
Yeah.
know how long it's going to last or what's coming next, but
Mhm.
we're going to have to learn something new right now.
And I think that's the beauty of our industry and our business,
Right.
because we're always learning something new.
Right.
You might be like, I'm doing several transactions back to back, and they're all the same, and then boom, there's that one
Right.
where you learned like a full year's worth of stuff. You're like, I learned so much from this transaction. There was because you had to reach out to your
Right.
boss, talk to his boss, their
Right.
boss, and this boss. We moved these funds over here. We did this, we did that. And you're like, I didn't even know about that.
Right.
You've been in the business for 8 to 10 years
Right.
almost, and you're
Right.
like, that's the beauty of it.
Right.
It's not a repetitive industry. It's
Right.
not. It's not something you just don't know. You might get a call right now. Hey, I need to buy a $2
Right.
million house. Oh, okay, cool. Well, haven't done one of those yet, but let me try. You know what I mean? Just something different that you're blessed enough to be able to experience.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's exciting too.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Dude, you mentioned a comment earlier that on the commercial real estate side, so like the NAR stuff, like it's coming, cool, like we'll get through it. Commercial real estate side, you mentioned that the LA Rams own Elcon, our mall down here.
So their ownership is at the same location, same everything, same owners, and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
If I remember correctly, well, the guy on my team, James Robertson, my team leader, we did a lease for a boba tea and a nail salon right in front.
Oh, I've
If
seen
you
it. I've actually been to that boba tea. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's the lease we did.
Yeah.
We did a lease, and all the contact stuff came from the LA Rams.
From the LA Rams.
Mhm.
That's kind of cool to see like the logo or the contract. Like we've
Yeah.
done a couple like football players and stuff like that. So when you see NFL
Mhm.
like pay stubs and things like that, that it's kind of cool when you see it on that level. But you would never know like how many people are involved on the commercial side from like the umbrella of who owns what.
Yeah,
And it's a trip just because that's a boba tea spot. Like it's
Yeah.
nothing.
and it's something
crazy.
so small to them, but if you look, from the ownerships in LA, the same location, I'm sure that's where their office is at and
Right.
everything, and for them to own a little tiny piece of Tucson is
Right.
kind of cool. But to them, I mean, to us it's huge, but
Right.
to them they're like, oh yes, well, it's Tucson, it's cool. We
It's
have
so
some
crazy.
ownership, and it could be due to cap rates and
Right.
it's just a better market to own ownership due
Right.
to easier finances and expenses.
Yeah, that's intense stuff. That is what's something that so I could imagine you walk through like all types of different commercial spaces. You talked about possibly even renting at this location, kind of deal. But what is something that you see that has been like the coolest thing you've seen in the commercial real estate space? Like,
That's a good question. I mean, I want to say the multi use of stuff. The way people are able to convert commercial buildings, whether it to be to hey, I live here also, but I
Uh-huh.
also work.
Right.
Live kind of we're falling into that live, work, play
Right.
environment.
Right.
If you take, of course, the way I bring it up is for to maximize
Right.
your expense. If I'm the owner of this place,
Right.
I also own the apartments.
Right.
I also own the office buildings,
Right.
and I also own this retail,
Right.
place next door. I own all this,
Right.
and you live, you work, and you come and eat,
It's
and you
all in
go,
there.
come and grab a drink after you want. It's all in one, and that's the uniqueness of kind of cool because he's that person is very really is maximizing their
Right.
profit
Right.
out of that utilization out of that space
Right.
of being able to have somebody rent, to live
To
there,
pay.
have
Yep.
somebody to go walk across the street to come and work,
Right.
and then they go again next door to go have a drink or a
Right.
beer for whenever for lunch or happy hour,
Right.
and it's just kind of cool, kind of unique the use that people that's working,
Right.
and you'll see it a lot. If you go off I-19 in Irvington, they just built some apartments,
Right.
and then there's some office spaces coming up,
Right.
and then you got all the retail and
Right.
food beverage places all right there. So it's all in one little community now. We no longer have to. You don't have to like in this location where we have to actually leave to go home. We have to leave to go
Right.
to actually go get
That's
some food.
that was like a big win. Like that whole Irvington like has expanded so
Mm-hmm.
much. Like there's a lot going on right there, which is like coming from the south side. Like it was always you got to come into town. Like when you talk about Alcon, like that was like one of the closest malls
Yeah.
that you could get to, kind of deal. And now like the expansion of that and how much is in there. Like I drive through and I'm like, what? They have that? Like,
Yeah.
and it's just all right there. Which there's no longer this long haul into town and then back to home where you're spending 2 hours just on the drive
Mm-hmm.
because of traffic. You know how that is on the night going back.
Yeah.
Like it could be tough. So to watch the businesses growing and like that whole bring it closer concept
Mhm.
is I can see the benefit in it because then you keep your people happier. Like it's easier to go to work. It's easier to come home. It's easier to be close to like almost like in the sports world, like everything's on the south side. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's tighter there now.
And it's a busy market. I've even had multiple conversations with clients who are looking to open business,
Right.
but they're a little skeptical about opening on the south side.
Right.
So I educate them. I tell them, go to the south side like on a Thursday through Sunday,
Right.
post 7 p.m.
Right.
and just see how busy it is
Right.
until midnight, even 1 a.m.
Right.
Just there's traffic is moving.
Right.
And so people are out doing things, spending money. If that's if your business is gonna fall
Exactly.
into that under that shadow, where you could still benefit from it because it is still active moving versus if we're north of Miracle Mile,
Right.
it's done after 7. It's done. It's quiet.
Yeah.
There's no cars, very low
Yeah.
traffic.
Yeah.
But down there, things are still people are still actively out getting stuff to eat,
Right.
going to bars, or even if it's a simple quick grab to eat,
Right.
it's fun. Retail places are still open. Um, People are still shopping for clothes.
Right.
It's just a different market as far as time.
Right.
People that are used to close 5 to 9, 9 to 5, whatever.
You know what? Like maybe if it's a culture type of thing, and I think that's the difference too. Is
Yeah.
because, like, going you talked about the north side a little bit. So like
Mhm.
they probably go home and there's a less going on. Like they're going into their night routine from there. Like people from the south. I grew up on 12th and Valencia, so
Yeah.
like I have an idea of like your life almost like you get stuff done still
Yeah.
after work or after school. Like there's that you check it off, and then like what else am I gonna get done?
Yeah.
And so you still have a second life of like I want to enjoy my life, so I'm gonna go out there and
Yeah.
and like eating and like doing things is how at least I know the culture of like spending time together
Yeah.
and doing that type of stuff. So some people may watch America's Got Talent all in front of the TV, and then
Yeah.
some people may go out to eat and go to Buffalo Wild Wings or go to the places together as a family. Like that is an outing in itself. So
Mhm.
I could see why it's a lot more live and active out there from my own experience of,
Mhm.
of growing up on that side of town.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
actually just approved I think a few months ago, to expand that Irvington Road over I-19.
Dang.
Just how, during holiday season, it's crazy. But just because it's so congestion right there, and it's only 2 ways, and I think they're gonna make it 3 on going both ways or 4, but it's much needed. And they got
100%.
approved. I believe we got approved for Irvington, and then the bridge over Drexel right there on I-19, and also on Valencia, something on Valencia.
Right.
I think something around there, but for sure the Irvington one. 'Cause
Right.
That's the one everybody was like hoorahing about.
That's right in the middle. Yeah.
Mhm.
That
Because
makes
that one,
perfect sense.
that bridge needs to be revamped for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, I see you got a baseball from the Oakland A's hat on. Do you like baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like about ball caps more than anything. So,
100%. That's me
I am
too.
a
Yep.
D-backs fan
Yeah.
from Arizona.
Uh-huh.
But I have ball caps from Yankees,
Right.
A's,
Right.
Seattle, you name it, just all of them.
That's how I am.
Dodgers.
I really like the logos or what I'm. It depends. Some of them it's just the way they fit or they
Mhm.
look or something like that. So same concept. So I asked though because my team's the home run home loan team. So the baseball aspect of people are like, did you play like professionally or no? I'm like, no, I just really like baseball. Like the hats, the culture of it, like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff is cool. Yeah.
You got to find a way to, I guess when you're developing your logo and your
Right,
brand,
right.
like, we're making mean something to you.
Right.
So that's probably why.
Right. I also made the diamond, the baseball diamond
Yes.
of first base, second base, third base, and home plate. Like be as I explain it with clients, their income, their credit, their assets, and then the property being their home. So we go through the whole. We round the bases to get them home. How do you score in baseball? You gotta
Yeah.
round the bases. So we go through it all that way. So like that didn't come till after. Like I didn't think of that, and I was like, oh, I want to build my brand around that. It was like, how do I, like, what builds a loan here? How do we get people in the house? It's income, credit, assets. Like it just happened to match up, and it's like, cool. We're gonna do it in these steps. That's the way it
And you
works.
start from first and
Yeah.
get third and come all the
Yeah,
way back
just
home.
like that. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I like that. I like that. It worked out. Now you
Yeah.
gotta make baseball caps.
100%.
Baseball caps. You make some mittens.
Yep. You know what I've always thought of is like how do I give closing gifts that are like the theme, you know? I thought of a bunch of stuff like baseball cards with their, that would be a good one. A baseball card with their closing picture on it. So they
What
can
is
keep
that?
it.
A holographic?
Yeah, a holographic, dude.
Get it
You know, I put
graded?
some time into it. Dang.
A holographic would be cool, but not all clients like to take pictures.
This is true. This is
No,
true.
I've had multiple clients like, hey, just don't want. I don't. You can take a picture of the building, or it could be for business purposes. Like, hey, just don't want to get the word out there as new ownership,
Right.
or versus just residential people. Just like I like to keep myself private.
That's
Cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
I think from like the baseball card aspect of it, though, it would be cool to even give them a picture of their building to know that like that's their
Yeah,
their
yeah.
collectible. Like they
Yeah.
can keep that. They did that. They earned it basically.
And actually, you could put like because most like. Now I'm thinking it's like Pokemon cards.
Right,
Like
100%.
on the corner it says
Right.
like their HP.
Right, yeah.
What's their specialty?
Right,
Their
their power up,
specialties.
yeah.
Their power. You can put all that in a sense. Like
Something
right
like-
there, yeah, like right there.
Relates to them or
Three
even
bedroom,
like
two bath.
something memorable even like in the thing. So that way like when people keep keepsakes in their drawers or something like that, like they'll have that. It doesn't have to be something crazy or big, but they'll have that.
Thank you. That's a good one, man. That'd be a good one for you because I'm pretty sure from your experience, you've worked with buyers like. I got you into this house as a single man,
Right.
and you're leaving
Right.
as a man, married man, two
Right.
kids. You're upgrading to a bigger house.
Right.
Now you're really powered up. You're no
Dang.
longer a rookie card.
Yeah.
This is your Hall of Fame
More
card.
experience. Yeah, you made it. Then that's when you whip out the holographic.
Yeah, that's the holographic card. You're gonna
You
send
made
that
it,
to
bro.
get graded and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. Make them sign it or something like that. It'd be dope, bro.
I need one to be saved. Hey, that's a good one. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that a lot. That'd be different.
That's an
That'd be
interesting
different.
like way to, because we're only like here for so long, right? Like we're kind of just navigating through time,
Mhm.
and we only have so much time. So like, how else do you paint a picture, tell a story? And there's a million ways to do it, right? Like you
Mhm.
can pick it, but to pick something and run with it, like that would be pretty neat. Because collectibles on cards, like, is a whole thing in itself. So for people to have their own, like, and it be about them and not,
Yeah.
A-Rod or something like that, I
Yeah.
think that would be something to hold on to. That like they worked hard for it, and they can, and if they pass it down to their kids, like this is their dad young who,
Yeah.
was getting after it and stuff like that.
And now we just need to find a person who can make them.
Exactly. I think that would be the next gig, but everything's doable. I don't think nothing's like, well, now we can just rent a commercial space and get a card maker and this on like Donkey Kong. That's what we do. We make collectible cards.
Yeah, make it
Personalized.
personalized collectible
Exactly,
cards. There has to be something. You ever been like where you think of an idea and you're like, I'm gonna go Google it.
Yeah.
And it's already there.
Exactly.
It's already
There's
there.
50 things already out there.
Make your
like that.
personalized
Well,
player's card right here.
100%.
They probably make them for little kids already.
100%. It's got to be out there. It sounds cool now, but it's already been ran over.
But now we do it for real estate.
Yeah, for real estate, closing pictures and things like that. Like
Holographic
milestones. Like that would just be it. Like that's what you give them as
Yeah.
gifts. even every year, even 5 years or something like that, like a milestone of what's new. So you call them, you find out what's new, what's growing, and then you try to paint the picture within the card there and send it to 'em, like on the details.
Dude, that's legit.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, or every time they have like a baby or something like that. Like
Mhm.
then, I think the really cool part then he's got to learn the card, but then you got to get that sleeve with the binder.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that way they
Yeah.
have their
Easy to
like
store.
a photo book, but it's of
Yeah.
their stuff, and it's something that you're pouring into their life. Then they feel valued. Like
Mhm.
they feel like this dude cares about our life because he's paying attention to it. Like
Mhm.
every time they get a new kid, every time they get this, they're getting something new to add to it.
And yeah, I think it'd be good for both the buyer or seller and not only us as the professionals
100%.
because we could open that book later
Right.
on and show our kids and be like, look, back in this day, look at you, Dad, what I look like. Look how I look back then.
Dad, you were a
I had
baseball
long,
player.
I had long hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fun.
We're like,
funny.
this that was us back in 2015, our first sale or something
Right,
like that.
100%. Could you imagine that? That's a whole nother lineage of stuff too. It's like, dang, that was our first closing. Then that was our 50th closing. Like going through that book.
We've been in the business for a while, man,
Yeah.
and it becomes shocking to me when how long we've been in the business when you be like, oh, how is so and so? Oh man, he passed away, and you're like, what? Like I didn't even know.
Yes, that's
And that's when you kind of know, and you're like, dang, I've been a while a little bit. I'm not a fresh newbie no more.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, we're still
100%.
new. We're still new because
Definitely.
been there for a while.
I think in this industry, like you always feel new because there's
Yeah.
somebody who's always tenure.
And that's part of it with commercial real estate.
Right.
Because I'm either the youngest person in the building
Right.
or one of the youngest persons in the building.
Right.
When it comes to these commercial events, commercial classes, commercial roundtables.
Right.
I'm the young guy.
Right.
I'm the kid.
Right.
In residential, I'd be like, oh, he's
Been around,
he's
yeah.
been around. Well, commercial, like, no, there's guys that have been here and
Right.
they extremely smart people.
Right.
That know people in and out of the business, that have big time clients, Starbucks, you name it, that's their clients.
Right.
And some people will be like, oh yeah, you're the only one in here with black hair or brown hair, and everybody else here has no hair, or it's gray or white hair. And I'm like, you don't notice until you look around
Right.
the room, and you're like, dang, okay. But then also makes you feel some type of way, like, all right, cool. Feels good to be in the presence of these people and these
100%.
professionals
Who's
because they
seasoned, been
so
around.
much knowledge
Right.
and that they have, and most people that are 55 plus, 65 plus, they're in that age where they want to share what they know and their
100%.
knowledge. They're like, man, I'm getting towards the end of my life and I want to retire, or I may want to slow down my business, but what am I gonna do with all this knowledge? It's useless if I just
Right.
keep it to myself.
100%.
So why not, talk to Angel, talk to Omar,
Right.
talk to Jake,
Right.
talk to Grant. Those are some of the guys on our team in our
Right.
office that we're young and we could soak up that knowledge, and
Right.
they talk about, hey, well, I had this deal, I roll up this lease this way, and that's S&DA's commercial term about leases and stuff, about how to get this sale through, and just
Right.
learning the process, but stuff that we never would have known if that person has been in the business for a while, never expressed or taught
Right.
us about it, schooled us, and we kind of they don't take it as like, you need to learn this. We're like, oh yeah, well let me tell you about my experience, and it's pretty cool.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
That's exciting, dude. Well,
Mhm.
it's been a pleasure, man, having you here, spending
Thank you.
spending some time, and most importantly, going back to what you were just talking about, and just kind of giving back in the ways that we can with
Mhm.
what we have so far. And
Yep.
I'm excited for that journey to just keep growing that out and finding out, learning new things out there in the field, and then sharing it so that
Yeah.
way we can give it while we have the opportunity to give it, and
Yep.
while it's still fresh on our mind. And just keep pouring back in there. So keep doing what you're doing with the community. Keep growing out Tucson, man. Like
Thank you.
we need it here. We know that this city's like built for greatness, and it's good to see things and starting to grow and stuff like that. And it takes people that are like willing to roll up their sleeves and do something new, something hard that other people from, especially the south side of Tucson, that may not see themselves being able to
Yeah.
do that. And you pushing and leading by example is going to help the rest of our community get after it and do stuff that they didn't think that they can do with
Nice.
that. So appreciate
No, I
having
agree.
you here.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
Yeah.
you having me.
Let's go.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's go. Damn, we did a little 40. We'll talk about 20 minutes. We did 45 minutes.
I felt by fast.
It felt fast. That was a good,
Mhm.
like, Good coffee meeting, like catching up. You know what I mean? Like I think we hit all our places of
Yeah.
just kind of touching in. But
Mhm.
that's exciting, man.
No,
That's
thank
cool,
you.
man. Cause did you? I don't know if you felt it, but there's a spot where I felt where everything just kind of lets go when you're like,
Yeah.
you're rolling through the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when we start laughing and stuff. Who knows what the hell we're talking about? Like,
Yeah.
we moved into Pokemon.
It no longer becomes a
A show
recording
anymore.
card.
Uh-huh.
It just
A show anymore. There was a time where I forgot that we were recording. I was like, that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
me too.
That's
It's, I'm
pretty
like
cool.
it just became a conversation,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, it's just
That-
real, just talking real stuff. You know what I mean?
100%. Because we
Yeah.
were like, even being boys, like laughing, making fun of like, just talking about the car thing or whatever. But
Yeah.
like, I was like, that's cool. Like we were having a real life conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's weird that you think about it that way. That like,
Yeah.
but it does go away. Like the
It goes away because you're actually, you know what you're coming out with,
Right.
what you're talking about. It's
Right.
like real. And it's
You're
not,
just in it.
It's not like just, oh yeah. You know what I mean?
We touched some shit though. We touched
So
some
good,
NAR
man. I'm
shit.
excited to see how you that's your
Yeah.
specialty, man.
Exactly.
Actually.
Exactly.
I remember seeing some of them when you reached out to me. I was like, oh, let me see. I was like, yeah, I didn't even know. Like, and then I went. I was like, yeah, I did. I remember seeing these ones.
Yeah. Stuff back in the day.
And you do them all just on your phone?
All on my phone, man. I've done through like heavy duty cameras and stuff, but the quality that they make with these iPhones now is like
Enough.
it's faster to upload and go. Like the quality's great. Like I've had a $6,000 camera that like the quality's it's not $6,000. Like it doesn't feel like that. Like so this is 1,000 for the phone versus
You
6,000,
talk on
and
it.
they're pretty competitive. Like you can't really, unless you're a videographer, you can't really tell the difference.
Mhm.
So why go into that? If it was all choppy and it was like Google or like the phone looked like something like that, then I wouldn't mess around with it. But
Ah, got it.
But
And you
yeah.
do all the editing through that software right
fun
there?
stuff, yeah, all the good stuff. Get to chop it up. Make
That's
up,
cool.
Put our highlights in a reel and
So
then share.
you do like the highlights, like, you know, quick Sports Center type thing.
Yeah, however I want, like whatever nuggets that we dove into that sounds a hook
Mhm.
that's gonna hook somebody's attention, then I'll pull them in there.
To get them to watch the entire thing.
Everything, yeah. So that's the end goal, is to get more people on there,
Mhm.
but at the same time, give those value nuggets. Like if there's just nugget bombs and they're like that was good, then let's roll with that.
They just leave that.
Let's
Yeah,
roll with that,
yeah.
yeah. But it serves all kinds of purposes. But at the end of the day,
In one way, our conversation would touch somebody.
it's exactly it, because it just may even be again like just somebody that you know or somebody that it came across that are like interested,
Mhm.
and they're whether it's real estate or something like that. Like it's better that it's authentic and we're talking like real, because then that's how it's going to connect with that person.
Yeah.
And like if it goes where it goes, then great. And at the end of the day, as long as two things happen, one, we cleared a whole podcast. So I don't know how many you've been on in your life, but that's done.
Yeah.
Like
never.
that. So that is done. The feeling now, you know, like going back to the whole NAR thing, it's like until you complete it.
Yeah.
So that's done in
Yeah.
itself. But then you learn, like, I mean, you probably learn, even if it was one thing new about me, which is probably the way I explain the home buying process to
Mhm.
people, and really map that out for people.
Mhm.
Like that's something that you gain value in it. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
cool, that person leaves a little bit better today from learning something about me. Same goes for you. Like I learned, like really when I talked at the end of it, like that felt authentic. Like, damn, this person's like lifting up Tucson.
Mhm.
And straight
Okay,
out
yeah.
the south side of Tucson, like for real.
Nothing, yeah.
You know, and that person goes. So when that came off, it was like that's how I felt like in that moment.
Mhm.
And so you learn something new, because whether or not, like I didn't understand it that deep until we talked about it.
Correct.
Until I felt it, and then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like now, any brick walls have just been shut down, because
Mhm.
it's like I connected with that person at that moment.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
get it, dude.
Yeah.
So like then there's that aspect of it from like a 1-to-1 level that
Mhm.
was tight. But then nowadays, like marketing with the people, like we just have to play how it's important. Like our demographic of people will appreciate seeing some like better audio and better video.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
because they'll know, then they'll relate to us. Like
Yeah. Now they know the face. It's not just a
Uh-huh.
name or an
Right.
old picture or something.
exactly, and it like you get to see you in action, and they get to see your highlight reel of like you kicking ass out there, not
Mhm.
just the like sometimes the closing pictures and shit like that don't even do justice compared to them hearing a little something and they're like that person.
Yeah, hear your voice, hear what you have to talk about,
Pushing
say
it.
your
And
opinion.
it's top of mind, because then my audience, who knows, like the connection from the south side in the same area between Pueblo, Sunnyside, like all those Tucson High, like all those like rim of people, the Choyas, like
Mhm.
that know each other, that there's somebody that needs to buy a house,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, damn, who would have known that? Like, that's how we got there.
Yeah.
That's how we connected the dots to make that happen,
Mm-hmm.
and now we could do that. And next time we run across a buyer, like, we can share it as like a relation. Like, yeah, I know that person. Like, they're gonna take care of you.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
we have something to share with them.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's like, okay, cool. You know my person. Like,
Uh-huh.
okay, cool. Like, that's my brother. Like,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's like that. Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
cool. I like these. They're cool. I think they're beneficial, especially for the Tucson community more than anything.
100%.
Because you see them all the time around LA,
Right.
Phoenix,
Right.
New York.
Like, if you don't have a type podcast.
Yeah, I mean
in
they'd
that
even do
community.
like those nice fancy videos where they walk through property and stuff like that. It's kind of chill, laid back here.
Right.
More people here just want to know. They
Right.
just said no, they're not really. Let me go walk. Let me go see that full walkthrough. You know what I mean, or
100%.
something. It's just kind of a little different here in Tucson.
I agree. And we're just playing in the space that we're in. Like, we're trying to attract our audience. It's like
Mhm.
we're fishing in a lake in Tucson, and we have to have the right bait.
Yep.
If we have overbait or underbait, like, then we won't connect with our people.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just trying to play in the space that we're at
Yeah.
until it changes and we have this San Diego environment. Then we'll up our game.
Yeah,
But
we'll
just
do
like
it.
these changes come,
We'll
just
get a
keep
bit.
it
We'll get better bait, bigger hook, better rod, better
Everything.
boat.
everything, the whole virtual, all of it.
Everything we need.
It'll be AI by then. Like, it'll be fucking.
That's not Angel.
That part too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking scary. That's a whole
Who is that
conversation.
talking? That's awesome. Put me sound like Mel Gibson or something.
The Austin Powers.
Yeah.
That should be great.
Yeah. I got no Angel talk. I thought he was Mexican.
Honestly, baby, it's not mine, and you're
Yeah.
gonna be moving your lips, and that's really gonna come out, and you're like that.
You see the ones where like where they do like say they had the owner of the Rams or the not the owner of the owner of the no, it was the GM of the Lakers. He's like, we really didn't want to pick up Bronny James, but we only did because of his dad, and he's shooting more bricks in the wall than a masonry. Like, it's him
And he's
talking.
really good and straight.
Yeah, but it's looking like it's him. But it's
Yeah.
just they put the voice in. Man, it's so funny. It's so
That's
so
wild, bro. Like, that's wild that they can do that. They just,
Mhm.
like, do you see the shit where they're like making songs with like Drake's voice or something like that, and then it's like a banger, like it could have been a good song, but
Funny. Mhm.
it's not even.
Everybody's
him.
like, we need Drake to confirm this first.
It's not even him.
Yeah, they're like, no, I ain't doing none of that.
But that's crazy. Which is gonna help people get off of stuff too. Now you can say some wild shit and then be like, "Nah, it wasn't me, man."
Yeah, well, I ain't saying
It's
nothing.
fucking AI.
Prove it. Prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it was me.
Dude, fucking.
I have a higher tone than like they do like those tones like people's voice.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
That's gonna be weird. They're gonna start making your voices like blockchain and shit like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Dude, this is cool too. I really like this a lot. This is cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea. You did you use the headphones or
sometimes, since I
is it
moved,
so quiet or
yeah, since the room is condensed, stuff like that, we don't really need. There's not too much going on,
Mhm. This is
so it's okay.
I like it. This is legit, man. It's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It is fun.
Because they're like I said, for commercial real estate, like if I was to do this, it would be strictly focused around commercial real estate,
Mm-hmm.
some residential here and there, but mainly to bring in those. Like I told you, there's there's probably like there's less women and there is young guys and women in commercial real estate that to pick their brains as being in this Tucson commercial real estate and me being in it, but interviewing them what they thought. Cause some agents in Tucson only specialize in industrial property,
Right.
only specialize in retail,
Right.
only specialize in office space.
Right.
They don't do anything else. That is it. That's all they do. That's all they really want to do, and that's all they're probably allowed to do. But to pick their brains as far as being young, that'd be pretty cool. And but me being in it to ask them those questions. about,
Right.
What do you think? You
Right.
specialize in office space,
Right.
something like this. What are the cap rates? What's the vacancies going on and those stuff like that? Who's buying these buildings in Tucson and stuff like that?
Dude, that's how a lot of people got, like the Tony Robbins, and like there's a lot of people that got all of their knowledge by interviewing people,
Yeah.
and like that's how they wrote their books, is because they sat with some famous person, asked the questions, and learned in the process, and then now they can go and
Mm-hmm.
like if they didn't set that up and have that interview, like they would never. It's like setting up coffee, but then when you say you do it for an interview, like they're like, okay, cool, I'll do that for the exposure or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But really, you're just like learning about that person in the moment,
Yeah.
and bringing value. So like, that's probably a niche in itself of the younger community,
Mhm.
like teaching them how to jump into commercial early. Like you're up here already, and you can attract them because you're you're not an old man.
Yeah.
And so you can still connect with
And we
them
can
on
kind
how
of
to
like
do it.
grow together in a
Right.
sense.
Yeah, but then you still have the source where they'll come to you to learn from the information. So
Yeah.
then whatever you say, like you're the bridge in it. Like
Yeah.
you'll have your own community with that. Like that would
There's,
be neat.
there's a guy from Picor, I think not like, I don't know what year. He's probably still doing good, but I think he sold like 120 million worth of strictly multifamily property here in Tucson.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
But that's all he does, multifamily. Don't do nothing else. No industrial, no office, no medical, nothing. Just multifamily. Anything 5 units or more. That's it. And I'm like, dang. So, but he's a young guy too.
Yeah.
So, but just to pick his brain and just see. But you know, to probably people from LA. I mean, California, Texas, New
Right.
York. Most of those people. But you might be surprised. There might be someone. Hey, I'm in Phoenix. I just have some money. I'm looking at
Right.
a market. Tucson is a better market for caps overall.
Even just to break down those topics too, like those would be good videos on
Mhm.
breaking down like what's a cap rate, what does that mean,
Mhm.
like so that way when
Yeah.
you're talking about it, you're like, just like say I break down, do videos on income and just break down W-2 income,
Yeah.
and just do focus on a series on that before
Yeah.
we move on to like all the things,
Yeah.
because I feel like there's so much involved with real estate in general, like that breaking it down is where the details
Yeah,
are gonna
yeah,
be.
people can know. It's just, say if you were like, all right, I want to buy my first 10-unit complex.
Right.
All right, I saw your video. You interviewed XY person.
Right, which gives you credibility.
yeah.
Like if you can get in front of that guy, then
And then help me.
right.
Help me. Can you help me get this space and
Right.
break it down for me, and that makes sense. I'm like, cool, yeah, vacancy and this and that, and salad buyer for this, and then after that, as you're like, cool, I now understand how much money I can make yearly on it. Cool, I'll buy it. I'll put the $100,000 down, and I
100%.
have it, or 100% financing, whatever it may be.
Right.
So it's cool little niche. You give me an idea.
There
But
you
just
go.
For, no, for it's good though, but
Nugget City.
time.
Mm. I know. Well, you're fresh off a baby, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fucking goal-getter, so now I know a little something, and I'm gonna push you.
No, thank you, man. No, yeah.
If anything, like not even like it's more of inspire you. I'll just continue to do more, so you're like, dude, like I know I could do some shit too.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's
Like,
cool. It's
some education stuff too, because it's not. There's weird feelings to it. It's not just
Mhm.
easy. You know, it's going there all natural and shit like that. Like
yeah.
And like I was telling you, like the highs and lows for me, and I've done a lot of them. Like, and I
Mhm.
still have those. Like, there's a point in this where it just flows,
yeah,
and then it feels good,
yeah,
and then there's a point where you're done.
yeah.
You're like, okay,
Like,
that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
We'll roll with that. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think it'll be good, man. I think
Yeah.
it'll be good for us.
Me too, man. That's good. Let's get rolling.
Well, do you park in the back here, or you park in the front?